Hello, everybody. The Nameless Narcissist here once again. A simple man diagnosed with NPD, trying to tell you about the stuff going on in my head and clear up some misconceptions on narcissistic personality disorder. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, but keep in mind I am no clinician, so take that as you will. I can only speak my own experiences. So, I got a comment recently asking about how the narcissist views friends. And I thought this was a very good topic for me because I see a lot of people saying how people with NPD, their primary source of self-esteem regulation is their romantic partners. And that's never how it's been for me. It's always been these very big, and I'm so sorry, these very big and intricate networks of like relations and friends and stuff like that. And usually the girl would be more of a status thing to bolster that. Not to say that I didn't care about the girl, but it gets a little bit more nuanced. Anyways, the most relevant thing to talk about here is the hierarchical thinking that goes on in people with NPD. All of my friends are kind of in a, how would I put it, a hierarchy, I guess, in terms of what their roles are, their place, and their functions. Some people are purely there for self-esteem regulation, some I think I'm in love with, and some have more nuanced roles, right? Like there's people that are like, oh, you are my confidant, you support me emotionally, etc., etc. Like I can, if I'm feeling upset, I can talk to you about those vulnerable aspects. Or some people who are like, oh, you are the friend that I have philosophical debates with, or you are the friend that I don't know, I go on adventures with, whatever. Everybody has their place, their roles, stuff like that, and they all have their place in a hierarchy. And there's multiple hierarchies. It's very confusing, very nuanced. I don't think about it too much. Well, I do, but you know what I mean. You might not. I'm sorry. Anyways, so I'm going to start this off by establishing the three main groups, as I would put it. So the bottom group is, I guess, I'm trying to think of a non-dehumanizing word. These are the people purely there for self-esteem regulation. Like, I want these people there to fill a room, people to hang out with, people to admire me and support me or whatever. And that sounds bad. And a lot of people don't like that kind of mentality towards them. And that was much more pronounced before I was aware, but it's still roughly the same kind of thing. I've just changed how I interact with them. Back when I was unaware, I had this mindset of almost noblesse oblige, where I'm on top, but since you're part of my circle, my sphere of influence, I'm going to do anything I can for you to make sure you are taken care of as long as you are loyal to me. And that's kind of how I view a lot of these relationships is, yes, I'm above you, but you are beneath me, and because you are loyal to me, I'm going to return that favor by using my superiority to make you happy if you need it. For example, like if somebody were to be mean to, like if somebody outside my circle were to be mean to one of these people, I would intervene and I might get aggressive with a person who is mean to that person. Or if there was a conflict within the people down below, I would try to mediate it and come to a solution that favored everybody. Nowadays, I look at how I behaved back then and I think that was domineering, just completely violated boundaries, and dehumanizing. And I recognize it as that now. And don't get me wrong, I still have a lot of people in my life who are there for self-esteem regulation. They're just kind of there. But I have tried to make it so I can offer a little bit more of a more reciprocal and not just oh, you admire me and I will kill whoever wrongs you, right? And then above them is more of the inner circle type people. These people are, so back before I was aware, this group and the group I'll talk about next, who are a little bit higher up, were much more meshed together. But this group was oh, these people know I'm kind of manipulative and I'm very much about making sure I have control. And these people are usually very Machiavellian in themselves and kind of want to align themselves with me so that because they know it's advantageous, and I'll basically kind of plot with them. So I'll even plot with them sometimes in order to maintain my authority over these groups. I don't do this as much anymore. In more recent years, I actually, before I fully started becoming aware, I actually started doing kind of taking that kind of place in other people's groups because I was like, I don't want to be the person everybody is blaming anymore. So I would like get really close to the person that was kind of on top and kind of be whispering in their ear to do whatever. But and then these people were the people I like. And again, this sounds very bad, very manipulative, but these people were the people that, though I viewed them as almost my henchmen, I guess. It was more of like, I have a lot of respect for these people. They understand how things work and the necessity of making sure everything goes according to plan. Because I really viewed this as people need to listen to me, and when they listen to me, they are going to be happier. Everybody will benefit as long as they do what I say, and admire me. And again, it was like that. It was that symbiosis almost. It's like noblesse oblige, the patron client relationship. I'd be like, okay, yeah, I need them to listen to me. I need them to admire me and pay attention to me. But as long as they are listening to me, I will make sure they're okay. And then you get to the third level, which is the very very intimate people. Like, these are the people that usually they would even be separated from my groups. I would just have a one-on-one relationship with them, and I wouldn't involve them in all that. These are the people that they have a quality that I either admire, I either see in myself and respect, or I think I'm in love with them. And let me make something clear. These people, I always viewed it as these are people I very much care about, right? But I was unable to, and I still am to some degree, to view them outside of the hierarchical, grandiose lens that I view everything through. So it's like, oh, this is somebody, and like before I was, and way back in the day, that inner circle hardly existed. I maybe had one friend or I had one or two friends that would fit in that circle, or like a romantic partner. But like, because I couldn't view these people I couldn't view them as unique people. I viewed them as, these are things that I admire, and within the grandiose lens, I would tell them things like, oh, we are like the smartest people around. Oh, we are like so much more insightful than other people. Oh, like the conversations we have are so much better than any others I have. Or if it was a woman I was involved with, it's like, oh, like we're so much of a better couple. We are like one of the best couples that have ever existed. I remember once something I said to a girl I was involved with was, oh, so many people must be envious of us right now, which she didn't like, really. Because in my mind, I was like, this is flattering. This is including her in like how great we both are. I viewed it as like of course, like anybody would give anything to be either of us because we were both so great, right? So I was like, and so I thought that was something that would be flattering and nice to hear. It wasn't, I guess, from what I hear. Like, looking back on it, I'm like, Jesus Christ, I was unhinged, my God. But yeah, these people, like, I very much view, like, oh, I really do care about them. And they do have their kind of roles, so to speak. And I have this and I do have a desperation close to them because I, want to recreate these intimate relationships and unconditional love I didn't have as a child. But because of how my mind's wired now, it's hard to put it in a context like that, appreciate people for who they are and not just the roles that they fit in my life. Recently my therapist was talking to me and was like, hey, maybe you should make a list of the things that you appreciate about these people. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. That's fucking hard. And honestly, and this is interesting because it's kind of bothered me even before I was aware, because I kind of recognized, I was like, people give, when somebody described why they would like somebody, I was like, that's a super in-depth and accurate picture of why this person cares about this other person. And I would think about my friends, and I was like, I can't think of a single fucking thing other than baseline characteristics that make me like this person, right? It's all about their status or intelligence or even attractiveness sometimes. Usually that one's a little bit, you won't get into the final circle based off intelligence. I mean, not intelligence. You won't get in that one based off of looks. But I will definitely keep you around because I'm like, oh, I like having pretty women and pretty men around, make me feel better, whatever. And now that I've kind of established like how that hierarchy worked for me, before I was more aware, though my relationships nowadays kind of mirror that still a lot, since I know why I do the things I do, it's a lot less like domineering and controlling. It's more of I just have kind of layers of friends, dependent on closeness. And though I can still be dismissive and cold to the people that are I view as more beneath me, um, I try much harder to not interject in their lives. There and try to have a more mutualistic relationship, because that inner circle is the closest you're going to get to mutualism with me. I'm still probably going to view myself as above you to some degree, but you have probably a quality I either covet or admire, is what it is. Like, for example, I have some friends who I view as very morally righteous. I'm like, oh my gosh, you like have all this discipline and self-control, and you are just like perfect in that way, and I'm a fucking degenerate bag of shit. I admire, and I'm like, and I like admire them for that, but I'm also like, oh, but like it's kind of dumb to be. I devalue even the things that I admire in these other people sometimes. It's like, oh, but you're kind of dumb for being good because you kind of need to do what you have to get ahead sometimes, depending on the situation. And don't get me wrong, I know that that's not rational, but it's very accurate to how I view the situation. And so now that I said that, though, you may be thinking, if you were in this situation where there is a head guy in control of a lot of people, or in control in quotes. Again, even the way I view this, the way I view my hierarchies are grandiose. It's like this is the most important thing that's ever happened, me controlling these social groups, which earnestly don't even mean anything. But you may be thinking, oh, like, I hate the idea that I'd be lower on the totem pole, or like, I wish I was like up there, because that would be a huge thing that happened. One of the big reasons why one of my social circles fell apart is because a lot of people would complain about the fact that like they felt like there was only like one or two people I had like a mutual relationship with, which in my defense, that relationship was not mutual either, but it wasn't a position to covet. That was my thing. If you like view it like that with almost an envious kind of approach, I guess it's like, maybe envious isn't the word, a desire to be closer, I guess. I'm not sure what other motivations normal people would have in this case, but it's like, I guess not to be looked down on. I'm not sure. But I will say that like despite that inner circle being like the closest to me and the most mutuality, there's a lot of caveats that come with that. One, you're going to see the most of my neuroticism and anger because I have gotten comfortable around you. Two, you're way more likely to be devalued than somebody lower down because you're seeing these parts of me that I'm ashamed of, and that I can easily project that without knowing it. Project that onto you and think, oh, you're just making me feel like shit, and then like also start being like, oh, they're actually lower than me, they're stupid, whatever, because I am ashamed of the parts of me you saw, and the way that my mind kind of deals with it is devaluing the person that's close to me. And that happens all the fucking time, and I hate it. And I never realize it until after it's over. And not to mention, and that being said, I'll be way more loyal to the people in my close groups because I view them as more important, I guess. I'm more likely to betray somebody lower down, but at the same time, yeah, you're more likely to be fine in that circle, but at the same time, my self-esteem regulation is always going to take priority, consciously or not, usually not. And so these people close to me are still very likely to get hurt. Well, I wouldn't say likely to get hurt, there's still a chance of them getting hurt, because let's say you do something that has upset me and I don't understand why you did it, and it just feels like a personal attack on me, or that you're trying to manipulate me. I will fucking, to prove a point, I'll fucking still cut you out just as easily as if it was someone beneath me. And though how do I put it? Like, you would have to do something, like, I won't do that for no reason, somebody, like, in my inner circle, right? Like, I wouldn't just randomly, like, wrong them, but it's like, oh, like, I feel like they're mistreating me, I have to cut them out before they abandon or betray me, whatever, because at the end of the day, I still need to establish that hierarchy exists so I can feel good about myself. not a great way to go about it, but I honestly think it's preferable to be one of the lower down people, and maybe I'll do something kind of shitty to you rather than be somebody close to me, because you're going to get this constant roller coaster of emotions. You're going to see my anger. I might just devalue you. So like when you do get that attached, I might just like fucking cut you off, not exactly knowing why I'm doing it. Or I may suspect that you're trying to manipulate me or betray me and stuff like that, and I'll be way more likely to cut you off immediately than somebody lower down because of that closeness, because it's a lot less easy to ignore in that way. So so I don't know. I don't envy the people close to me, if I'm being honest. Oh well. That again though, like that all has somewhat changed since I've become self-aware. I've been trying a lot more to be more mutualistic, but it's hard to restructure your mind to look at these relationships as closeness and appreciating them for people when it was so superficial before. And like I don't think there's never not going to be a degree of superficialness to it. I mean, hell, even if I like status and attractiveness and stuff like that are still going to be so important to me, even if I do learn how to appreciate somebody as a person, because again, that self-esteem regulation trumps everything at the end of the day. There's circumstances where I can kind of put that aside, but if it's between my self-esteem plummeting or me hurting somebody or me doing something that's going to hurt somebody unintentionally, I'll probably do the latter one. And like that's what reason I broke off a lot of relationships very abruptly, is because I'm like, me being around this person and being seen with this person makes me feel inferior, so I have to get out. And that's not good, especially since I would lie to them about the reason. I don't know. Is lying about that bad? I don't view lying as bad. I feel like it was to protect their feelings, that like me telling a partner a lie in order to like shield that from them, like shield like kind of my true nature from them, is kind of preferable. But at the same time, I don't know how normal people would like prefer that kind of thing to be presented to them. I'll probably still lie anyway, even if I did know, but whatever. But anyways, that was just how I viewed my friendships back in the day and stuff like that. Again, this probably isn't conducive to most people with NPD's experiences. I was just, I had a very specific way that I went about this stuff, but whatever. Anyways, please like, comment, subscribe if you like this, whatever. Have a good day. Take your fucking meds.